So, it's like minus a million degrees outside. So yesterday last night I walked and bought a treat I hadn't had. Ugh, I'm so sick in here. My sinuses. I hadn't had um, sugar for I think 12 days. I'll have to check how many days I've been on this candida diet. And so I bought a package of, I mean, I knew I shouldn't be doing it, but I did it anyways, right? I just needed a treat. Just couldn't take it anymore. I had to get out of the house. I bought this package of gummy bears and I ate it. I don't know how long after. Um, of course, I started to feel like I, you know, like someone drugged me, right? I felt like I had someone had slipped me a half a dozen sleeping pills or something. I started blacking out and literally just shutting down and couldn't keep my eyes open, literally, totally crashing. And it had been so long. And I don't mean 12 days. It's been, a few weeks since I think that's happened to me. Well, you know what? For about 3 or 4 weeks, that was happening to me every night. Like a couple weeks ago, that was happening to me every night for almost a month. I was crashing, like just totally crashing and shutting down. I don't think I was really sharing that because I didn't understand what was going on. And I don't think I was regularly sharing that at all, that I was crashing every night for almost a month. And I couldn't put the pieces together. And I still don't know what that was all about. But so anyways, it's been a couple weeks since, like maybe 2 weeks since this has happened. And I wasn't eating the wrong things every night for a month that I was crashing every night. But anyway, so last night I ate that treat and just crashed, like as if someone had, you know, forced me to eat a half a dozen sleeping pills. I was just crashing. I was blacking out. And like sitting up, my eyes were closing. Literally, it was like I was fighting. It was like someone pumped a ton of drugs into me and I was crashing. And I was forced to go to bed. And usually it'll severely flare my neuropathy and nerve pain and heaviness, muscles, my shoulder. I've always talked about my shoulders and arms and legs drowning me and crushing me in bed. That wasn't happening. I think that the LDN that I'm taking is actually starting to work. That or my neuropathy has miraculously disappeared, which I don't think it has happened. But I think the LDN I'm taking is working. So for the pain, anyways, but I still get I still have the heaviness, the weakness, the muscle atrophy, the drowning in bed, but that wasn't happening last night, which is really weird. But anyway, so what was happening is I kept on waking up, not breathing, which was terrifying. So I would wake up silent, not breathing, and just be taking deep breaths and trying to get going again. And that was horrible. And You know, I looked at I wish I could flip. Like, I'm on my phone right now. I've got the camera running. I wish I could flip to my oximeter app and check. But I was, you know, so this confuses me. If I kept on waking up and I'm not breathing, and I know this was happening, it's not just a perception or whatever. I wonder how, see, there's no way I can measure the apneas at home without the CPAP on. And even if I had the CPAP on, it's not going to tell me. They can tell, the doctors can tell at the office, which no one's following my apnea anyways. No one's taking care of my apnea or following me up, which I think normal doctors do that. And, I think normally someone is taking care of apnea patients. I don't know what that kind of care is like. But so I wish there was a way, like, today, this morning when I woke up, I wish there was a way that I could tell how long was I actually not breathing. And my oximeter can't tell me that, but my oximeter can tell me how low my oxygen goes. And I wonder how long I was stopping breathing because my oxygen wasn't getting extremely low. Because I've had sleep studies where I have, stopped breathing for like a minute and 15 seconds at a time. So you can stop breathing, for 5 seconds or like a minute and a half or forever, not wake up, right? So I'm really curious when that was happening. Over and over I kept waking up, not breathing. How long was I not breathing? How bad was it? And why was this happening? You know, I stopped wearing CPAP about a month ago, and I'm sure there are apneas that are happening that aren't waking me up. And every night I usually get up a few times a week, a few times to go to the bathroom, or I just wake up. Um, but I'm not waking up trying to get myself breathing again. So I wonder what was really happening. It's hard being a patient and you can't measure these things, Like if you were hooked up to a CPAP machine and you had all the equipment to be able to, or even just the proper app to, and I think there are apps that you can buy, but I can't do that online. I can't buy anything online. And I think there's apps ongoingly, you pay monthly or something, and it can break all that information down for you. And it's too bad patients like this, just don't have access to that kind of stuff as part of their treatment plan or it's hard being a patient and not being able to measure. And there are doctors who like you to not have access, which I think is weird. Access to as much information as you can have to take the best care of yourself. But anyway, so yeah. And that all goes back to, having that treat and seeing all these symptoms, you know, seeing, I mean, I was stopping breathing last night, which presumably is sleep apnea, waking up and I'm not breathing. So like the inflammation from that treat that I had was, causing worsening symptoms. I don't know. I'm just so sick. You know, the ears, the sinuses, the trigeminal nerves, sinuses in here. I'm on antibiotics, trying to follow the uh, candida diet, which is really tough. Um, my vision is blurry, right? Like no answers for all of this, right? Like I'm on antibiotics for sinus and ear, we're hoping that that's going to help the sinus and ear. Just totally exhausted from, I had a couple hours of good sleep last night, which I normally don't say that I have good sleep, right? I normally don't say that. But, I'm still just so incredibly tired. Anyways, it's weird just, straying a little bit from the diet and having a bit of a treat, and I'm waking up over and over again, not breathing. That's just crazy, right?